The journey of an investigation often depends less on the brilliance of the analysis and more on the physical and digital integrity of the artifacts gathered. We are mastering the standardized practices for handling digital evidence to ensure it remains valid for legal use and can withstand the most rigorous scrutiny from opposing counsel. Typically, a lapse in how a device is stored or moved can undo months of technical work, making the evidence inadmissible in a court of law. In practice, professional handling is about creating a bubble around the evidence that prevents any outside influence from altering its state. What this means is that every interaction with a piece of evidence must be performed according to a predefined, professional protocol that emphasizes security and accountability. Before we continue, a quick note. This audio course is a companion to our course companion books. The first book is about the exam and provides detailed information on how to pass it best. The second book is a Kindle-only ebook that contains 1,000 flashcards that can be used on your mobile device or Kindle. Check them both out at cyberauthor.me in the Bare Metal Study Guide series. Handling evidence correctly means protecting it from any physical damage or digital alteration from the very first moment it is identified at a scene or within an office. A piece of digital evidence is uniquely fragile, as it is susceptible to magnetic fields, static electricity, and even the simple act of being powered on. In practice, the responder must consider both the physical environment and the digital state of the device to ensure that no data is lost or modified. Typically, the goal is to freeze the evidence in time, ensuring that the state of the bits on the drive today is identical to their state when the incident occurred. By treating every device with this level of extreme care, the organization demonstrates its commitment to the highest professional standards of forensic integrity. A fundamental requirement for any field responder is to practice by using static shielding bags and secure, padded containers whenever you are transporting physical hardware for forensic analysis. Static electricity can cause permanent damage to the sensitive electronic components of a hard drive or a memory chip, potentially destroying the very data you are trying to save. In practice, using a Faraday bag is also essential for mobile devices to prevent them from connecting to cellular or Wi-Fi networks, which could allow a remote user to wipe the device. Typically, these physical safeguards are the first line of defense against the accidental destruction of evidence during the transition from the field to the laboratory. What this means is that your choice of packaging is a critical technical decision that directly impacts the success of the legal case. A common and highly damaging mistake in the professional world is leaving evidence unattended in an unsecure or public area where it could be tampered with or accessed by unauthorized individuals. Even a few minutes of lost custody can create a gap in the record that an opposing attorney will use to suggest the evidence is no longer reliable. In practice, once a device is collected, it must remain under the direct supervision of a designated custodian or be locked in a secure, access-controlled environment. Typically, a break in the chain of custody is much harder to fix than a technical error, as it calls into question the honesty and competence of the entire investigative team. This realization highlights why the physical security of the evidence is just as important as the cryptographic hashes used to verify its digital content. You can achieve a significant and immediate quick win for your investigative protocol by creating a simple and standardized evidence intake form that tracks the serial number and physical condition of every item. This form should be completed the moment the evidence is received, providing a baseline description of the device's appearance, including any scratches, dents, or existing damage. In practice, this prevents a suspect from claiming later that the investigators damaged the hardware or that the device in court is not the one that was taken from their desk. Typically, having this contemporaneous record provides a clear and professional starting point for the chain of custody log. What this means is that you are using administrative discipline to build a layer of protection around your technical findings and your professional reputation. Visualize the professional clarity of a pristine evidence locker where every single item is tagged, bagged, and its entire history is clearly and accurately documented in a central log. In such an environment, there is no confusion about who has a specific drive or when a laptop was moved to the forensic workstation for imaging. Typically, this level of organization is what allows a laboratory to handle dozens of cases simultaneously without ever losing track of a single piece of proof. In practice, an orderly evidence room is a sign of a mature and well-governed program that takes its legal and technical responsibilities seriously. This visualization serves as a powerful reminder that the infrastructure of your investigation is the foundation upon which your professional conclusions will be built. In the field of law and evidence, we use the specific phrase best evidence rule to describe the legal requirement that the original version of a document or record must be provided unless it is unavailable. In the digital world, this often means that a forensically sound image is treated as a duplicate original, provided it can be proven to be an exact bit-for-bit copy. In practice, the rule is designed to prevent the fraud and error that can occur when a party relies on a summary or a partial transcript of a record. Typically, your handling practices must be designed to satisfy this rule by ensuring that the original source is preserved and that the copies are verified through mathematical hashing. What this means is that you are following a centuries-old legal principle to ensure your modern digital facts are accepted as the absolute truth. Reviewing your formal evidence handling manual on a regular basis ensures that every member of the investigative team follows the exact same steps, regardless of their individual experience or background. Consistency is a vital part of a defensible process, as it shows that the organization treats every case with the same high level of professional rigor and technical precision. In practice, the manual should serve as the operating system for the team, providing clear instructions for collection, labeling, transportation, and long-term storage. Typically, a judge will look for this consistency as evidence that the organization's findings are the result of a reliable and standardized business practice. This commitment to a unified methodology ensures that your team remains a trusted and highly capable participant in any legal or regulatory proceeding. Imagine the professional embarrassment and the legal defense team's joy if they discover that your key digital evidence was stored in a generic, unsealed cardboard box in a shared storage closet. This lack of professional care makes it incredibly easy for a critic to argue that the evidence was not taken seriously and that its integrity cannot be guaranteed by the organization. Typically, if the physical handling is sloppy, the court will assume that the technical analysis was also performed with a lack of precision and care. In practice, the optics of your evidence handling are a powerful signal of your overall professional competence and the reliability of your findings. This realization highlights why the energy you spend on high-quality containers and secure lockers is a direct investment in the success of your legal defense. Every professional should anchor their handling practices in the singular goal of proving beyond a reasonable doubt that the evidence has not changed in any way since the moment of collection. Whether you are dealing with a physical hard drive or a virtual cloud volume, the burden is on the investigator to show that the data remains in its original, pristine state. In practice, this means using a combination of physical seals, access logs, and cryptographic verification to create a sealed environment for the evidence. Typically, a judge will find your findings to be persuasive if you can demonstrate that your handling practices made any unauthorized modification technically and physically impossible. What this means is that you are using a multi-layered approach to security to protect the fundamental truth of your investigation. We have now covered the physical and digital safeguards required to maintain the absolute integrity of digital evidence throughout its entire life cycle, from the field to the lab to the courtroom. By establishing a formal and standardized process for handling every item, the organization is building a more resilient and defensible framework for its investigations. Typically, the most effective teams are those where every member understands that their individual actions can impact the admissibility of the evidence for the entire case. In practice, this shared sense of responsibility ensures that the evidence is always protected, documented, and respected as a critical legal asset. This integrated approach to handling is what ensures that your findings remain a trusted and usable resource for the legal decision makers. A highly effective technique for long-term preservation is to use digital signatures or write-once media, such as a finalized optical disc or a write-protected drive, to store your primary forensic images. These technologies provide a technical guarantee that the image files can never be modified or deleted, even by an administrator with high-level privileges. In practice, this adds yet another layer of objective proof to your preservation workflow, showing that the digital twin of the evidence has remained static since it was first created. Typically, these images are also protected by multiple copies stored in different geographic locations to prevent loss due to hardware failure or environmental disaster. What this means is that you are using the most advanced technical tools available to uphold your professional and legal obligations. Standardized and professional evidence handling prevents the most common challenges to evidence admissibility and ensures that your technical findings will stand up to the most intense adversarial pressure. When the process is transparent, documented, and follows industry standards, the focus remains on the facts of the case rather than the methods used by the investigators. Typically, a team that is known for its rigorous handling practices is more likely to be trusted by law enforcement, regulators, and the judicial system. In practice, the energy you spend on perfecting your handling protocols today is a direct investment in the long-term credibility and success of your investigative operations. This focus on integrity is what ensures that your organization remains a respected and legally sound participant in the global digital economy. This unit on the essentials of preserving digital evidence using standardized handling practices is now complete, and you have gained a solid understanding of how to maintain the validity of your records. We have discussed the role of static shielding bags, the importance of secure storage, the value of intake forms, and the legal foundations provided by the best evidence rule. A warm and very practical next step for your own professional growth is to take a moment today and find a secure, access-controlled place to store your evidence in your department. As you do so, consider whether the location is truly restricted to authorized personnel and whether it provides the physical protections needed for sensitive electronic components. Moving forward with this observant and disciplined mindset will help you ensure that your organization's digital truth is always safe and fully defensible.
Thanks for listening. For more audio courses, daily newsletters, and more, please visit baremetalcyber.com.